Hey
You ready?
guys. Hey guys, this is Holistic Health Harry, Alkalize to Realize Talk Show. Today we're joined by one of the co-founders of Alkalize to Realize Talk Show with Lee, Robert Molson. Fabian, fuck one son, how are you today, brother?
I am absolutely fantastically amazing.
Awesome, bro. It's like it's been 1 year, so I'm so pleased to be joining with you today, like getting updated information from you on Urine. You're a key member of the team. You have a lot of great information. So, with that being said, I know this is going to be quite a long one for people with great information. I'd like to start by asking you, where are we at in your learnings and current teachings with aged urine at the moment?
Oh, you see, now that is always going to be a very good question. As you ask me that question, I'm always going to go. I'm always going to go down towards the floor, as I used to always do when I do my videos, etc. And I'm always going to go and I'm going to grab this bottle, and I'm always going to get this bottle here. But now, because we're on here, what I'm going to do is I want to experiment something as the mad scientist in public so we can see it. So that there now, you can't hear it, just about to see it there, appears to just be aged urine.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not. Like, yeah. What it contains is molecular hydrogen, and it also contains carbon and hydrogen plasma is what that contains. So what that's doing, hydrogen itself, the brain suffers massive oxidative stress, just the brain itself. Hydrogen goes straight to the brain and pushes blood into the brain where it needs it. And what hydrogen does, it ignites your brain. It's how it works. It triggers an NRF2 pathway, which is a natural release of antioxidant. Yeah. And the only major incoming threat is a hydroxyl radical. Yeah. And it was only the other day I was looking at something else as well. It's reactive species that cause the issues. So we have oxygen reactive species, etc. We're not going to go too much into the plasma because that's a more higher advanced knowledge that's incoming now. But the plasma has these oxygen reduction species within it, which we kill off your cancers and so on and so forth. But hydrogen also does this as well, and more of a drop down level. So the actual hydrogen itself is the key for life. Hydrogen actually promotes life. There is no if was right, and it's something that we've not realised. You know, oxygen oxidizes things. Hydrogen is a super antioxidizer. So when you've got a substance, and when we're looking at ORP, which we might even look at, I mean, what I've done here is I've got all my testers and everything. So when we are looking at something like oxidative reduction potential, when it's saying that something is highly oxidized, it is saying that substance is causing death. That is what it is doing. So if a substance is breathing and it is saying it's a highly, antioxidizing agent, then that substance is what it is doing. Its main personality is to promote life, is to restore life. Right. Is what it's doing. The electromagnetic mountain, I did a post on it today, is a magnetic sensor that through magnetism, it controls the nerves within the body. So it's like when you go and pick up a stone that's on the floor, and that stone, you perceive it to be heavier than what it was. You might pick some up and it's hollow inside, but you perceive it to be much heavier. Through the initial thought and exertion of that, it is magnetism that provides that force that when we go to lift and pick things up. So there are a lot more mystical workings behind our bodily functions than we first come to mind. It's the same as when you can talk about sleeping. There's two parts to the mind. And both parts of the mind are conscious about the other one. So when we go to sleep, we don't necessarily need an alarm clock. What happens is we can actually set the higher mind to access. It wakens the lower conscious mind, and you're able to do this. We've all experienced it. You go to sleep, you didn't set your alarm, but you still woke up on the button. Right. Yeah, it's because your mind is split into two, and that's why you can do two things at once. That's why we can walk down the street and talk at the same time.
It's fascinating, bro. Just to touch bases with a few things you said, I'm completely fascinated, it's hard to assimilate all of it, but I hope some people can. So reactive oxygen species is death, free radicals, and oxygen, in a way we need it, is kind of killing us because it's oxidizing. And then you talked about molecular hydrogen, which is interesting because that is what the aged urine contains, right? The hydrogen, which gives us the life back, which the oxygen, in a way, kills us even though we need it. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. So, yes. So what I was going to, that's where, which is where we're going. So that is what, so the body is really producing, it should be about 10 litres a day of hydrogen from the actual gut. So that's what's supposed to be happening. And then the hydrogen itself is looking to promote balance. It's always, what we have always thought is that, oh, we need to create more and more and more, uplift it more and more health, more and more good stuff into the body. But in actual fact, a lot of the free radicals, we need them as well, such as your superoxides, etc. We need them. They're working, but it's only the actual hydroxyl radical, the hydroxyl radical, which is that hydroxyl radical is actually stealing your hydrogen, and this is why it is the number 8, because the number 8 it contains both heaven and hell in it. It contains both good and bad in it. So your hydroxyl radical is stealing your hydrogen. That's what it does. It steals your life, the hydroxyl radical. And so, and at the same time, hydrogen selects the hydroxyl radical, which is the one that is going to be causing toxicity to the body. And then what hydrogen then does, it looks to eliminate it. So looking at something, and we'll be looking at something like aged urine, it does contain those levels of hydrogen. I test hydrogen. There's something called a H2 blue tester here. This is the way to test hydrogen. Cool. It's called H2 blue. Quite expensive. It's a blue agent. So when you see hydrogen is blue, it's blue, and you see blue elements they're ascending. Yeah, it's about electricity. You have your red elements, which is your oxidizing. Your blue elements are your anti-oxidizing. Your hydrogen is always your blue. I'm not going to go too much into occult numerology and all that.
Just a quick one. That works with the red blood and the blue blood, doesn't it? If you think about it, red blood's oxygenated, then it deoxygenates with the blue.
That's exactly right. And so your water molecule is the same as that. You have one hydrogen, you have one oxygen, and two hydrogen. So you have that combination of life inside of every water molecule. And I could go much deeper into that with the water molecule, because it also has the proportionality for life as well, which is phi, which is what creates the reality that we are currently experiencing at present. So the actual hydrogen itself within the aged urine, when you then mix it with the aged urine, the molecular hydrogen itself, what you're then doing is you're actually increasing the potential for life within the aged urine itself.
That is fascinating. That makes sense to me. So you're putting 2 in 1, molecular hydrogen, which you've talked about before, and maybe people are aware is very powerful by itself. And then you're adding something which you suspect, and I probably agree with you, aged urine is even more powerful, but you're combining the two, and you're creating a maelstrom of like fucking health, right? In a whatever form you take it in. Yeah.
This is the basis of what we're saying. And then you see the reason that it's got to go to the actual brain electromagnetic mountain is that we have been taught the wrong way to look at the body. It's a supreme tech, as I always teach about the avatar. So the actual head is the pinnacle. So this is why if you're going to get freedom, you have to free your dome. It's freedom. Freedom. Yeah. So we have to create freedom in our dome. Yeah. In order to be able to set free. Once we are able to do that, we're able to, our mind becomes open. This is why we say we're now open-minded. And this is what the ionic charges do. They promote life and they promote learning at the same time. And this is why to break AFAS, these are the substances that are used. So in terms of electrical signaling, which we can look at as well in a second, it is things such as your hydrogens, your aged urines. They carry these high pHs, right? Which also then carries this, which we know, these high levels of oxygen, which triggers the brain, but then the brain requires the glucose and requires the energy constantly in order for it to produce what we need to in our daily occurrences. What we haven't realized with our more scarcity-based mindset, that it is a charging mechanism. So, and I can prove this now with the hydrogen. The hydrogen I've shown on many videos, I can get 600 or 700 negative charge in this now. So, but that with the actual hydrogen itself, yeah, that is what the hydrogen is looking to do.
With you, man. Fascinating. It really is fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking to promote acceleration. It's looking to promote learning. So when you use the hydrogen and you're actually taking it straight to the brain, what I was going to say is that you see hydrogen itself, because it's an abundant gas, it's the most abundant gas in the universe. It is number one on that table. Because it is number one on that table, it's the smallest. It goes in every single space. It means the body is producing 10 liters of hydrogen per day. That means that I can take this to my brain. I mean, at the moment, it's phenomenal. I'm probably drinking, you see that there's 100 ml here. And in actual fact, you can't quite see it, but there's little bits in here.
You can, yeah, I can see little bits in it. Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Can you see them little bits?
Yeah.
It's not the bits. It's not the bits that get. It's not the bits of the what we said, the almost that sits on the bottom of the aged urine. But what happens is it's the chemical interaction. It's the chemical interaction between the hydrogen and the aged urine, which then manifests these gases that we can see in it. And the hydrogen then, like I was saying, it can be used abundantly. So there's no limit. There's no limit. And that's how we know we're working with the higher echelons of nature.
Yeah, I love it, bro. Just a quick one on that. So hydrogen peroxide is used in rocket fuel. Hydrogen is that fuel to the fire. And you're saying that there's no limit to how much hydrogen we can take in. And just like I feel when you know that aged urine, there's not like a limit to how old it gets and how powerful it gets. I totally relate to that idea. Right.
That's right. So hydrogen peroxide is slightly different, but yes, hydrogen peroxide, fantastic as well. But it's this molecular hydrogen, the molecular hydrogen, and the gas, molecular hydrogen with the gas, it's the molecule is so small, it's such a small molecule that it goes through all the gaps and all the spaces. And yeah, it's true. You can use hydrogen to create a fuel cell in order to power a vehicle.
Nice. I like what you just said there. So it's so tiny, this molecular hydrogen, that it can go into every single nook and cranny. And perhaps that's why it detoxes you so powerfully and seems to detox us into areas of childhood trauma and childhood emotional and childhood medicines. You know, it goes way back to not just present moment stress in the body, but deep within the system.
Yeah. It doesn't miss a single thing. What it's looking to do is looking to catch everything. And then the thing with the aged urine, there's a lot of Chinese studies as well, Japanese studies, to say now that we shouldn't be consuming really over pH 10 anyway. We should be consuming a lot over pH 10.
Oh,
that's fine. That's fine because the aged urine itself is always sitting around pH 9, which is then telling us that the aged urine is perfectly designed for bodily consumption.
Yeah, I love it, bro. Yeah, this is beyond fascinating. You know, it really is. So do you think that, I know your answer to this question, but so you think it's a perfect design, right? And it was meant to be for us as used as a medicine, as opposed to just an accidental thing that we've just discovered or rediscovered. It was designed for us, for our consumption. Yeah,
it's designed. Everything. What actually happens is look at really recently. All energy is designed to be is on loop. Is designed to be on loop. So there is in reality really there is really no sort of end. So that really you could say, I've used it many times before. That's going to give you this discipline, surrender, and flow. So you have to discipline and surrender in order to raise the seminal fluids by not letting them out. Listen, you can fall down and get back up. It's not a problem. But once you self-realize that this action, then you have to continue to work on it. So that urine then is then a part of that. So when we are ejaculating, we're releasing the seminal fluid. Yeah, I got so much coming around my head all the time. It's crazy. So your CFF, your CSF, your cerebrospinal fluid, your seminal fluids has a pH of 7. The aged urine has a pH of 9. The gap between the two is 200 times. So what's actually happening? All of our lower energies, the way that the energy field works. Just use this for a minute to breathe in. If you imagine if this was your body, because this is what it is, it's like a force of divergence, and that flow, which is that red energy, it comes outwards. It comes outwards here, and then it's to be regenerated and then recycled up and then brought back through again. You can see this through the magnetic fields that I now create. The magnetic fields that I now create, you can see it in real life action now. So when you excrete that urine, we don't realize the paradoxical nature of this reality. It's the same as when you are dreaming. When you are dreaming in your reality, so you can alter your physical reality through your dreams and vice versa. So what we don't realize, because we take everything on a base, simple level, we don't realize that things have much greater, deeper meaning than what they first seem to be. So when we action something, in reality, really, the energy of what we're actioning goes far deeper than we first perceive it to be. So when someone urinates and they excrete that urine, when they let that urine go, they suffer an immediate loss of energy. When they take that urine back in and then re-loop it, they instantly feel a recharge.
Yeah, do you know, I've never thought of it like that, actually. A loss of energy, even every time you pee, and if you're not it's okay for aging, but I mean, if you're not, that's going like the masses do. Yeah, that's definitely a good reason, actually, an argument for the vast variety of diseases. We already know urine therapy is powerful, but the fact that we need to pee all the time, and I'm thinking especially people that go to the toilet a lot. I see a lot of kids nowadays and adults drinking a lot and peeing all the time, like once every hour, bro. It's fucking weird. Like, we live in a weird society. So yeah, you're peeing out your energy and not re-looping it, or not even saving it for aging. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and one of the massive things for that is because of we are using diuretics, obviously, which I spoke about that before. Your teas, your coffee, your so on and so forth. These things are creating that diuretic that actually is releasing the urine. So then what then we're doing is releasing the magnesium and releasing all of those fantastic benefits and elements that are encased inside of that urine. Now, one of the massive things that I found about urine, now hopefully we'll be able to cover some of this. It'll go through smoothly. Is that there is something called taurine.
Right.
Urine.
Heard of this? Yeah.
Yeah. Now they say this taurine, right? It's so powerful, and what it does, it fires the heart. It acts like hydrogen again. Hydrogen only acts as an antioxidant. It acts as what we need to be to promote life, and the taurine does the same. Now, what they call taurine, the word taurine comes from, they found it in ox bile, right? Yeah, but it's connected to the sun. I have it written here, right, somewhere. Now, what actually happens is with this taurine, they put it inside of energy drinks.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, a bit of Red Bull. I'm not promoting that, but they have it in Red Bull, for example, isn't it?
Yeah, because what taurine does, it promotes your mitochondrial function.
Is it vitamin B1, taurine? Isn't it a vitamin B? Is that
no? It's not even a vitamin. No. It's not even a vitamin. Taurine itself is just absolutely fantastic. What I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try and bring up some slides showing.
Sure, man.
So we can hopefully cover bits of what's going on with the taurine here. If you just bear with me a minute, we should be able to do that.
Right.
Can you see the slide on the screen?
Yep, we got it. Taurine has many essential functions.
Yeah. So you see, you've got it. Taurine has many essential functions. So the thing with taurine, first of all, is that even in our gonad, right? There's lots of free radicals there, right? And what taurine does, it acts as a super antioxidant for the masculine, in your sexual region, Can't think of the word for it, long word, spermatogenesis, right? So we don't realize there's lots of free radicals, right, down in that area. And at the same time as well, we are suffering with this low this low frequency at the 2.4 gigahertz frequency, that is being pushed out. Yeah, what that does, it affects our reproductive organs. Is what it does. So what something like taurine does, taurine acts as a super antioxidant within the gonad.
This is fascinating, bro. This so from what you're saying, acting as a super, it could be used for fertility treatment in the future. We're well ahead of the game here. What you're saying, like you could say that it could with all the fertility issues we're having, this substance could possibly through this mechanism make people from infertile to fertile or more fertile if they're already fertile, right?
Yeah. So So what the taurine is doing is it's boosting your testosterone levels at the same time as well,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's why.
It's fascinating. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Cool. Great information, man.
So the taurine is a super energy. So you can see there, taurine. General actions of taurine. You say ion channels regulator, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Yeah, it's doing all these massive things. It's bile salts. So your taurine is helping you to create the bile. You need the alkalinity to create the bile, because the bile, so your vitamin D, for example, you're getting that vitamin D based on the amount of bile secretion. So you need this bile. Now, the taurine is triggering and increasing the bile production. So even if somebody is not on a really good alkaline, they're not using a lot of alkaline, yeah, then something such as the taurine, which is in your urine, yeah, is going to help to provide increase your bile production at the same time too. Yeah, it also works with insulin secretion as well.
Right. Okay. So with insulin secretion, we know that a lot of people suffering type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. Yeah. So you're saying it would increase insulin sensitivity and your ability to heal with.
It helps with your in terms of your hormonal release with insulin levels. It helps with that. It helps with that.
Fucking fascinating, mate. This is a great fucking focus you've brought us here today. Thank you very much. And wow, fuck, man, this is brilliant.
I mean, that's just one. What I'm going to try and do, because obviously when we're using this platform that we use now with these slides, it's a bit of a newbie, but it means that what we're able to do is one at a time. So I mean, hopefully we can bring up the next one here. Yeah.
Okay. Mitochondrial diseases at the top, right?
So this is what taurine is doing. So all these slides that I'm bringing up now, are all based around. All of these are all based around taurine consumption. So if you're getting, and one of the most amazing things, about taurine, about all of this, in actual fact, is that we are using our urine, and even we've not even realized about this massive benefit called taurine, which is actually in the urine. So I mean,
how did you find out? How did you get into the taurine in the first place and think it was a big thing? Was it an accident, a synchronicity? How did you come to this?
I always find these things. I think it's because I'm just generally I'm always looking to advance on my level of understanding all the time. And through that, it enables me to find these things. Now guess what? Taurine, what it does is it also increases, and it helps the brain function. It helps you to grow new brain cells. It increases the calcium production, which is connected to your electrical signaling in your brain. Now, taurine increases that. It increases that. So it's being looked at now, but it is actually pretty much there that this taurine itself is responsible and helps to create new brain cells.
Bloody hell, mate, that is beyond fascinating. So mitochondrial biogenesis, increasing mitochondria. We know that mitochondrial disease is key, like it's the powerhouse cell. Now you're saying it increases brain cells, and that could be a reason why people like myself and you and everyone uses seems to be really smart and intelligent, or put it this way, the best versions of ourselves, you know. It's taurine, you're saying, is definitely a huge factor in this.
Yeah, so what we're saying is here is that taurine itself is a massive factor. If I went in Japan, they're eating a lot of fish. Now, taurine, you find it in a lot of fish. Now, these are reasons why people that eat meat, etc., and eat poor diets, these are the reasons why they are still alive. Look how, I mean, it says 69-fold increase. You said the number 69 just followed me around. Now this is what happens. So the lifespan of people that live at the ports, this is all fact, that the fishermen, etc., in Japan, they live a lot longer than we do.
Yeah.
Because
Okinawa, yeah, all these people, yep.
Yeah, because there's high levels of taurine in the fish that they eat.
That's fascinating. They'd argue it's omega-3s, but I'm down with that. I've heard, yeah, that makes complete sense. I'm like, complete sense.
Yeah. It really is. And if you look at the slide that I've got here, your taurine in your breast cancer, a lot of cancers, etc., they've found that every single time there's been low levels of taurine. Now, without having to go too drastically into the taurine, into what it can do, I can already sit here and say that taurine plays a role, a part in every single part of our bodily anatomy and bodily function. Even if you have something like tinnitus, taurine helps to relieve it.
Nice. Wow.
No. Yeah. But they're not telling us about urine, but they mentioned taurine. Now, it's hard to get taurine. Now, one of the things that I'm glad we're doing this video here, and I know in other areas of health, etc., that people will say to you that if you're a vegan, then you're not getting your levels of taurine.
Right. Okay. Yeah. They'll say that.
Yeah.
And B12 and all these other things. Yeah.
Yeah. But those that drink their urine are getting those levels of taurine because it is the actual taurine itself. The actual taurine itself, it is within the urine.
Right.
And just to show that, hopefully, we will be able to do that now. Just give me 1 second, and we should be able to see that.
I seem to remember in Martha Christie's book that there was a mention of taurine being present in the urine in quite high amounts, along with loads of other things. So, but yes, definitely, if we have a graph or something to see the taurine is present within the blood.
Yeah. So if we share that now, hopefully this will work. Now, can that be seen? Can you see that?
Yes, we can. Taurine concentration in plasma, blood cells, and urine of children undergoing long-term parental nutrition.
Yeah. So what this was here is it was an experiment that they did, to test the levels of taurine, because at this point here they didn't realise the massive benefit involved in taurine. It's got massive benefits in it. So what they did here is they wanted to test to see if the levels of taurine that is in the body now, is it required that we need additional taurine. Right. And it was shown through this from this what you're looking at here is from the 70s. It's from the 70s.
Wow.
And it was shown there that yes, additional taurine is required. Additional taurine is required by the body in order for the body to actually function and actually advance.
And it's interesting. It says urine at the top there, isn't it? It's found in the plasma and the urine mentioned in the top, which is urine therapy supplies us with. So.
Yeah. So it is there. Now, urea, the only way that urea comes about, I'm doing a lot of plasma stuff now. That's a lot of the work that I'm covering now is on the plasma, which is basically covering the metaphysical nature of the reality and the environment in which we live. And in actual fact, it's talking here about amino acids a lot as well. You can see there we're talking about question of whether, because the taurine is an amino acid, so it's with urea, which is what this is going to go into as well. Urea only comes about by the interaction between the carbon, the hydrogen, and the nitrogen.
Okay.
That is what brings the urea into play in the urine. So imagine that there that I've just said there, you can find that just by doing standard research. So we didn't realise that they were literally telling us there that we know that for urea to be born from carbon is a communicator, hydrogen is giving you the energy, and nitrogen is the beginning of all things. So those things there, along with oxygen, are the building blocks of life.
Interesting, man. Yep, this makes complete sense to me. Yeah, like you said, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, they're all in the atmosphere. And without these things, there would be no urea, which we know also has benefits along with taurine, right? Very powerful too. We've got a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So you can clearly see there. You can clearly see there. You know, that here, this is what we're looking at. Without going into, I mean, it's a really, really, really good read. If anybody wants to fully read it, there's a lot in here that would make you think, bloody hell, listen to that. You know, it's telling you pretty much. It's giving this will give you pretty much everything
Just a quick one.
you need to know.
To sum up a little bit on the taurine, it's absolutely essential to recap. It's absolutely essential for kids' development of the brain and the health, or is it just the brain? I mean, the brain, right? As a child's growing, it's really important for brain power to be its optimal function. You're saying that taurine is the one, a great focus area for, and absolutely essential for for all people, but for children especially. And we've got that present in our aged urine, right?
Yeah, so imagine that this taurine does all these wonderful things. It does all these massive, amazing, wonderful things, and yet, like I say, you find that the actual taurine itself is there present in the urine. This particular document that I've got on here at the minute now, it concludes pretty much all things. What I'm looking at here at the bottom of it, here these tests are telling you pretty much everything that you're going to find in your plasma. Your zinc is there. Your vitamin A, your B. So this albumin, there's something called albumin that I'm just bringing up here. When creatine, albumin, the albumin, what that does, that albumin carries the proteins around the body. So the albumin is carrying the proteins that the body requires through that plasma highway, and it's got the zinc in there. The zinc, what the zinc does, it triggers the pituitary gland to secrete, you know, your feelings of relaxation. So what that's doing is, what zinc does is it acts as a sedative. It acts as a sedative, in the brain. So most people, they suffer with this scatterbrain, right? And it's because they are not getting enough zinc. There is not enough zinc going into the system. Now, all of these things here, we find them heavily in our urine, along with the amino acid. You know, it's already there.
Wow.
You see, although taurine is not found in the mammalian protein, it is the most or second most abundant free amino acid in the human body.
Well, sorry, what was that? You said the second most abundant amino acid. What was it called?
So that's why with this thing, I'm just reading like little bits, because it really is a brilliant read, but it's very hard to go through it like now. It's hard because we're talking. So the discussion says, although taurine is not found in mammalian protein, now vitamin C, we don't have vitamin C. We don't have it, right? We need to get it from other sources. Now, although taurine is not found in mammalian protein, it is the most or second most abundant free amino acid in the human body, 7 to 12. There are approximately 10 grams of taurine in adult humans, but there appears to be only a small rate of synthesis of taurine and few metabolic pathways premature and in children. So I think through the conclusion of that is that children, it looks to be here, need those levels of taurine. And there were other things. I think I was looking at something yesterday, recently. I can't think what it was now, but there are other things as well, that when you reach a certain age, the body may stop producing. And I think, and I know, actually, taurine is one of them. Taurine is one of them, yeah. So like it says here.
Do you know what that makes me think as well? Like, think about it. Stem cells, they're abundant as kids and they grow less and less in people age. So maybe taurine's one of those too. It has a lot, and it kind of goes down when you die.
I have seen that with the actual taurine, that it does actually do that. So it's fact. I mean, just reading this one thing. In males, the decline of androgen synthesis, spermatogenesis, and sexual function are the main phenotypes of aging, which may be attributed to testicular dysfunction. Taurine acts as an antioxidant, a testosterone secretion stimulator, Not only does it stimulate your heart, it stimulates your heart, right? But it also stimulates the secretion. It stimulates the testosterone. So it's giving you the fight and the drive. So it then goes on to say, sperm membrane stabilizer, motility factor, right? It says, recent observational studies suggest that taurine may play an important role in spermatogenesis, right? So taurine acts as an anti-aging. It acts as an anti-aging effect on the testes, right? But those tests have been concluded. We found that was to be the case in rats. And we know that obviously usually when those tests are done on other mammals, we know those to be the case with the self as well. So what it's doing is it's working on your lower region to boost the testes. It's working in the heart, which is why it's actually called taurine, which is Taurus. It's actually connected to a Taurus bull, which is why it's in your red bull. It's why it's actually in the red bull. It's the bull. It's the bull that is in the red bull, because taurine itself actually comes from it was named Taurus. Taurus is a bull. The astrological sign Taurus, which is an earth sign, the representation for Taurus was a bull. Yeah, and the adjective for Taurus was the time when the sun rose in Taurus, and it was created. The name Taurus was found in 1845, which again is 9. Yeah, and it was when they found it. It was found in ox bile. So it boosts the heart. What it does is it boosts the testes, giving you superior energy. It boosts the heart, protects the heart, because it acts as a ridiculous super antioxidant for that. And what it also does, it triggers electrical signaling in the brain, which is actually going to increase your mental capacity to achieve more in the physical. So
I love
it's
just a quick one I've got on testosterone. So when you increase your testosterone, it affects the muscle structure of the body. And remember, our heart is a muscle itself. So in effect, by increasing your testosterone, it's like what I'm saying, it's a loop. It's a loop by increasing the testosterone.
That's what it does.
The heart, it's all just looping up.
That's what taurine does. It works on the muscles.
Yeah,
and it works.
I mean, one of the things they say as well is like people age because of a lack of muscle density and bone density and all these things. So another mechanism is like, wow, like is improving the muscles by taurine and many other factors, which is making us live longer.
It is doing that. Taurine increases electrical signaling in the brain, as I say, electrical signaling ability in nerve cells through effects on calcium, a key element required for proper electrical function of neurons. Taurine can favorably mimic the actions of certain neurotransmitters. It mimics them, the chemical signals in the brain, the cells that we use to communicate. Now, the calcium carbonate has the pH of 9.4. We know anything that has these sort of pHs, like we are saying, is going to provide levels of advancement. In actual fact, we can measure the strength of a magnetic field by its actual pH. pH means infinite light. And that's how we're able to measure magnetic field now. So we know that the pH of, I don't need to see a magnetic field of the aged urine now, because I know that if the pH 9 of the aged urine means that if I had Curlian photography, if I had the equipment to see it, you would be able to see a massive magnetic field around your aged urine.
That's fascinating what you just said. So wait, just to recap, you're saying that the higher the pH of a substance that's good for us and beneficial for urine, the more that signifies an increasing magnetic charge, magnetic field.
Yeah, that is exactly how that works. And then also, we're going back to what we're saying about the CSF. We were saying about the cerebrospinal fluids and the seminal fluids. Now, what actually happens is it's all an interaction. So when I mix the aged urine with the plasma of hydrogen, right? So that is a higher state of the hydrogen. See, what I'm speaking now is the talk from our original blueprint in terms of speaking about plasma and stuff. So when I'm speaking about the plasma of hydrogen, the hydrogen plasma, it's a hydrogen as a higher state of matter. So we're in this physical form now, but me and you in our gaseous state is in our less etheric state is going to be a lot more powerful, and that's what we're speaking about here. So I did a video a little while ago showing how I can see the amino acids now. I work with amino acids now. I'm able to see them. There's amino acids in the atmosphere, right? Which I'm going to be speaking about, which enable us to help us to see what we see. And these amino acids interact with the amino acids that we see in plant life, which is why when we go out into nature, when we look around, we get this feeling of well-being because it's the interaction with the amino acids. Now, what actually happens is when you create like this substance here, when I take it outside, because of the field that it's created, it doesn't have a strong enough field to pull the gases and the plasma glands out of the environment. It's not strong enough for that, but it does have the capacity to pull some amino acids onto the surface of the aged urine.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
That could be another reason what you're saying why solarization of an open top solarization of aged urine seems to make it go quicker too, like more powerful.
Well, that's why when you're sun gazing, that's what's happening. The hydrogen in the atmosphere, that then comes through your skin. 80% of the energy that we are gaining is coming straight through the avatar flesh shoot. Only 20% of it's coming through the food. So when you're sun gazing, what's actually happening is it's one hydrogen incoming through the skin, comes into your water, merges with the hydrogen that you've got inside of your waters, boom, and that's what's giving you your energy.
Yeah, I love that, bro. And also, the eyes have the blood vessels at the back of the eye, the easiest to access because the eyes are a very porous layer. It's painful.
Yeah,
it's a bit more hard to go through. So yeah, as soon as you sun gaze, you're getting the medicine. You said the hydrogen ions straight into the bloodstream, and once it gets into the bloodstream, then the magic happens.
Yeah, because it's instantly then it's pulling in light. That black cone in the center, again, you see, it's pulling in light. Now, in actual fact, that is what all magnetic fields are. All fields are doing, and we are on one big massive field at the moment, and it has a center, and it will pull in its light, and it will be replenished again. And that is exactly the same thing that I was saying at the beginning about the recycling of energy. Our energy to us is a level of wealth, extreme wealth, that we should be looking to conserve and actually hold on to. So that's what I say. So when you use that urine, so say for example you excreted, you had an ejaculation, for example, and lost some of those seminal fluids. Now, because the aged urine is so powerful, it is so powerful, right? It has the ability to then recharge your seminal fluids because it is of the same force and source.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. When you what you would do with it is what you do with it, and it's the same with what I do with this substance here. It has taught me, it has metaphysically taught me that we need to interact with the air. The air outside, we can't see them, but it's full of gases. It's full of. I'm looking at this whole reality totally different now, and the air that you see, it is full of these fields, and these fields you communicate with. They're communicative. Thomas Edison and Tesla were saying exactly the same thing. Yeah. So you can communicate with them. So for example, once you've excreted now, you can take that aged urine with that hydrogen, or just your aged urine actually, and then you put it on your skin, which is what we do, the body rubs. And then whilst you drink it, once you put it on your gonads, like we were just saying with the taurine, weren't we? I've got it all here. If anybody wants to know about taurine, I hope I haven't gone fully in on the taurine, because if I did, it is amazing. It does so many things.
I think you're right. I'm trying to push at the idea that I've seen it's not me to figure it out, but what I've done is I've massaged aged urine on my testicles. It seems to supercharge my testosterone. So this could link in exactly with what you're saying. Like, this is why it seems to make the testosterone go fucking crazy. And it's the gonads. And, if you put it directly on where they make the testosterone, then that's probably right?
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So because what's happening with the gonads, I find out they're full of free radicals.
Oh, right.
So, yeah. And that's why you get, there's something called PCT that people get as well. Obviously, which is something I posted yesterday. When people excrete, when they have sex, and so almost 50% of people actually suffer with sadness, anxiety, agitation, and so on and so forth. And that is because they didn't continue the loop. But you have to know how to re-energize, because energy is consciousness. So what I'm saying to people is, when I go to sleep, I'm looking, hydrogen, it looks to promote redox. Yeah. So what redox is balancing. Yeah. That's what redox is. It's a balancing mechanism that is within. So that's what hydrogen is. So when we go to sleep, the brain, insulin is still being secreted from the brain, so the brain can be active, so you can dream, so on and so forth. But a lot of oxidative stress gets caused up in that area, you know. But what hydrogen does, it looks to create homeostasis, because hydrogen is coming from outside of the realm that we're in. Yeah, there are other luminaries such as the sun, so on and so forth. We even know Jupiter, etc., uses hydrogen. Yeah, helium rises. Hydrogen and helium are connected. Yeah, hydrogen and helium go together. So we know that when you go to sleep, going forward, as we learn more about hydrogen, I've been working with it for 6 years now, so I know it really, 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 really well. But when you work with the hydrogen, you go to sleep, you're also, there's a reset mechanism being put into place anyway. But when you take hydrogen before you go to bed, hydrogen promotes homeostasis within. When you take an individual who is not well, when they test the hydrogen, then they can see the results of hydrogen. When you take a normal individual and they test the cells and they look at that person, they don't find many markers, much difference. Yeah, because they're looking for just the health side, looking for ailments. Yeah, they're not looking for advancement, so they don't find much different. Yeah. So when you're going to sleep now, your acid levels are rising when you're going to sleep. Yeah. So you are more in that reset. So that's why you have to go to sleep, let the acid levels rise up. So what hydrogen is then doing is creating a supreme balance. So it's aiding you during your reset period.
Oh, I love what you said. Yeah, carry on, man. It's brilliant.
So
Yeah.
when you awaken, it has already triggered your NFR2 pathway. So even at the moment, if you so the 2.4 gigahertz frequency that has been kicked out is promoting ROS, which is promoting a reactive oxygen species, which is promoting the hydroxyl radical. But guess what? Hydrogen, it acts as the super antioxidant to remove the free radical that the toxicity is being caused by the 4G network. So had we been taking hydrogen for all this time, then we would have been receiving protection from the 2.4 gigahertz frequency. To use that hydrogen, you have to have a tester like this, because some of the tablets out there are not going to be good. There are ways in which now coming forward where people are creating a gas to do that. But the aged urine again contains hydrogen, taurine, yeah, and then going forward, which we'll look at in a second, is the actual phosphorus, which is contained in the urine as well. So when you awaken, what I'm doing is compounding on life, and that's why I wanted to do this. It's so hard when you experience what is being experienced here. So with aged urine, I'm using it as an initiate practice. So I'm using it in order to access, to go on to use my metaphysical bodies and to access astral. I'm using the aged urine as a mechanism, as a lift-off mechanism to do that, because it's creating a light energy, and it's giving you the breath to breathe. The breath is connected to your subconscious. Your subconscious knows the difference between reality and fiction. So if you are telling yourself that you are drinking a supercharged substance such as this, then that will manifest now into your reality.
Yeah, so powerful. And just one thing we all notice when we drink aged urine is the breath slows down. It's very hard to disagree with that. And we know that the slower the breaths per minute, as the yogi said, the longer the life. And it seems to give me a lot much energy to talk faster, to think better. Same with you and many other people. It seems to give us energy. Yeah. It's an irony, because people think you need to breathe less or more. No, actually, you need to breathe less. That gives you more energy, not more. Right?
Not more, less, stillness. And that's why I was just saying, it helps me to get on the astral. How do I get on the astral? We're accessing stillness. You see, that's where the actual power is. The power is rest in motion.
Yeah. Just a quick one on
Yeah.
that. I had some new insight on the, I don't know if you're interested in this, on the brain, Asia in the brain. I feel like it's what it's doing is coherentizing the brain. So, you know, when people have depression and stuff, their brain is all sorts, they've got alpha, beta, and gamma, and it's not working together as a unit. And what you said with stillness is interesting because as soon as you drink it, aged urine, it hits the brain, gets into the bloodstream, and it coherentizes the brain. So now we've got the brain firing instead of like all aspects of like different frequencies. Now the brain is working in synergy and stillness and working together and unity and bringing back something you talked about last year in the interview. I remember what did you call it? The stillness. What did you call it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
The 0 point. It brings you back to 0 point. That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is what this is here. This is what I teach. So you see this 0 here. There's a 0 that's there in the center. You see this 0 point right there.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's what that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, so it's magnetic flow stemming from a point of 0.
Yeah.
The point of 0 is the true force because it's an inertia. It's an inertia. Yeah, and this inertia is also connected to homeostasis. Homeostasis is the rest. Hydrogen promotes the rest.
Yeah. Definitely. It's bringing that peace and stillness that we crave, and to like you said, to raise the vibrations and to send you to see who you really are in this reality, and not the density and the physical density that weighs us down and gives us so many problems, physical ailments, emotional ailments, spiritual problems, emotional issues.
Yeah.
All these things can be fixed with what we're saying, you know, with the aged urine.
Yeah. All these things can be fixed with what we're saying. So what I'm going to do is just when I get another document up. I do these. We have so many things to say that we'll do this. We'll probably plan to do
so far. I'm loving the presentation. There's a lot to offer and to think about. I need to rewatch this myself. I'm sure everyone watching as well is going to have to rewatch this. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, I always feel as though I've not been able to give it because it's so beneficial. It's so beneficial. It's so powerful, and it's so beneficial that the message is hard to put out. For other people. So just trying to get this other document up. Did just try and get it, and it didn't come up. So if it doesn't come up this time, don't come up, then we'll have to do. What I'll do is I'll probably be able to share it into the. What we do is we just share it straight after. It's not going to let that document come up. I've shown it before. The document that I was going to pull up there shows. It's telling you about the level of the phosphorus that is inside of the actual urine. Same as the other document that I just had up. Same as the other one. It's not letting us bring it up. But the actual phosphorus itself, you can actually, the phosphorus was found via burning urine. So by transmuting urine, enables one to actually enabled them to be able to find the substance itself, which is phosphorus, because it is born out of the urine. It was a white phosphorus. It's like a white light.
Yeah,
like a white light.
Chemistry labs. When you burn phosphorus, it goes white, isn't it? Like a white sparkly. I think.
Yeah. When you burn it, now hopefully, I'll just do this and you'll stay on the screen anyway. When you burn it, what actually happens is when you burn urine, it fires up into a bright white glowing light that levitates.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it does. It glows into a bright white light that actually levitates. So what that's showing is it's showing the power that is encased inside of your urine. And that experiment, if anybody wants to know about that, I can actually have it. It's actually you can actually find that experiment on you can find it yourself on Google, or you can find it on what you call it. You can find it on YouTube. It is actually on there. What I'm just doing at the moment is I'm doing it another way, because we never give in. That document, yeah, I'm going to be able to. Hopefully, we can just show it straight to you as a photo instead. Even better. So here, You should be able to see. You can just see that there now.
Yeah, phosphate urine.
Now, hopefully, what we'll do is we'll just skip up. Give me 1 second because there's a couple of them. But what I did is I just had to screenshot it instead because it wasn't allowing us to bring it up.
Okay.
That we've got to get the right one because there's actually 3 of them. So if you just give me 1 second, we'll just adopt a little bit of stillness and patience in the moment in order to bring what we want to see up. Right, can you see this? Can you see this on screen now?
Yep, uses at the top, serum phosphate.
You can see that, yeah?
Yep, we got it.
Right. So, so first, so you can see here, that you've got in your urine straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just make sure I get the right page up so that we can look at the right thing instantly. In your urine, instantly, there you can see technology. Love it. Fantastic. Here we go. Right, there we go.
Okay.
So you've got serum, plasma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here, yeah, it's literally telling us. So phosphate is a structural important in bones and teeth, where it is combined with calcium in the form of, we won't say that. It is a component of nucleic acids, yeah, phospholites and many other enzymes. Phosphate is vital for energy metabolism, muscle contraction, nerve signaling. Now, remember, we were talking about the taurine, and we were saying that taurine it aids in muscle stimulation and muscle generation, etc. So imagine if taurine is doing all these wonderful things for the body, but yet on top of that, you've got the phosphate, and you've got the phosphorus. Phosphorus is a light. Phosphorus is a light. Phosphorus is Lucifer. But phosphorus, they use it, they take it out of the urine, etc., use it for the plants. But what phosphorus, look at what phosphorus does here, right? So muscle contraction, nerve signaling, intracellular signaling, and electrolyte transport.
Yeah. Electrolyte transport being the whole electric bodies that we are, aiding with that electricity.
Yeah. So it's transport. What that's doing is it's transporting the ions in order to create these charges. So when phosphate is an important buffer. Look at that, it's a buffer. So look at what it's doing. What phosphate is doing is, again, look at this. It is reducing. It is looking at your acid levels and your alkaline levels in order to create homeostasis yet again.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And all of this that I'm getting across here, what I'm getting across here is to say that there's a compounding process going on here that helps one, that leads one in order to accessing higher states of being. Now that would be employed by the breathing, by accessing the stillness, by accessing one's core essence, enables these bodily functions, these bodily advancements that we are getting through the urine. They enable us to align with your higher metaphysical bodies, which is how you begin to upgrade. Because if you're not doing these transcendental practices, and you're not doing this internal work, in actual fact, what happens is the plasma, the fields, the plasmatic fields that are within you, they are not that level of communication and information, is not being passed to your lower body. So when we are using these substances, we are only getting about 25% of the benefit out of them. If we are not doing our internal work, such as your meditations, the self-love practices. If you're not involving your spirit and soul, if you're not involving your soul in these things, then you don't get the full benefit from them.
That's interesting. This is one of the... Would that be why also some people report a nocebo, or some people report that urine doesn't work on them as well? Could that be a reason why?
That's why. Yeah. That's why that people they will say that it's not working for them, because just reading that one paragraph there. Now that what I'm reading, when I go back to the top, it says your urine. So we know we are now in a different world to these other beings. They are in these artificial constructs, because if the information is clearly there, and me and you, like say, so we've had some phenomenal experiences, even going back a year ago, where we were working with the aged urine, and you see when you, like say, looking at these other areas as well, creating a clear state and so on and so forth. And there was a period where we were just firing. Information was coming to us late at night. We couldn't even sit down. We were thinking we don't need. We're at a point where we realised that it's not that we need to sleep. It's not that we have to sleep. It was more of a case of we didn't have to really sleep. We didn't want. The level of energy was massive. The amount of information that was incoming was phenomenal as well. And that was because we injected ourselves with a superior form of energy, which is coming through this aged urine, because all of the things that are in the urine, such as the phosphorus, you're talking taurine, you're talking hydrogen, you're talking all of these other vitamins, your magnesiums, your calciums, all of these things that are inside it. And on top of that, our body now, I now know, is made out of gases, really. Gases and ganses. And the gases and those gases and ganses, if I take a bottle of aged urine, like you were seeing these little gases and ganses that are in here.
Yep. The white things.
Yeah. But those white things, and you know, if I go and get a bottle of aged urine, there'll be loads of it on the bottom. Like if I go grab a bottle, yeah. If I go grab one of these, like that, you know what? This is the video. If I can't use one, see, you're going to see the white sediment just resting on the bottom of the bottom, right? You're going to see the white sediment. You know, you're going to see it. It's resting at the bottom of the bottom. Hopefully, you can just about see it. Probably, you can see it there, just at the bottom. Oh, this is all white at the bottom. We know that, yeah. But in the environment, yeah. I'm going to be speaking a lot about this. When people die, they turn into gases. This is all new knowledge and information. It's going to be coming. We're going to be seeing this over the next few years. Cool. They turned into gases. All of the information that have come from other people, they don't disappear. They stay in the environment. So the essence of other beings, of the life forms, ancestors, and so forth, haven't actually gone anywhere to an extent, because some of that gets collected in the fields that are surrounding us. They don't go anywhere. So our body is made out of gases and these ganses, and the body. I've been saying, I was always been saying this, and it was reconfirmed to me when I moved into the area of the metaphysical nature of this reality. Yeah, it was reconfirmed to me. Yeah, that the elements, right? That the body is only requiring elements for the mechanism of charging, and that is why when health is fine. Look, great. I want people to look at improving their health, but that is the base. That is the base. I'm not going to go too much into the occult realm in this talk, but there are five elemental states that reside within. Yeah, and that the base elemental state is the earth, which is the body, and that is aligned with the four states of matter that we have: solid, liquid, gas, nano, and so on. As you go up the scale, you're gaining more energy. So your lower physical body is looking for the higher elemental charge of the gases and the GANs, and that is what we find in here as well. And it's the salt water. You see, it's the interaction of salts and the amino acids that brings forth life. Yeah, that brings forth life. It manifests life through the fields themselves. But at the bottom of the plasma, this look. You see that? Doesn't that look familiar? The white stuff. Looks familiar, doesn't it? To that white stuff.
Yeah.
That's plasma gases. They're plasma gases that I've pulled straight out of the environment that you can't see with visible light.
Wow.
You can't see that with visible light. And the level of happiness and enjoyment that it gives you is absolutely phenomenal. And it's incoming through the sun as well. Also, not just through the sun, but through the sun. And it also provides some of the light that we see as well. But it's the same white stuff that what you can't see in the atmosphere is the same looking white stuff that we find manifesting in the bottom of our bottles of aged urine.
I like that. And in a way, what you're saying as well, too, is that, you know, when people talk about sediments and white stuff and they're worried about, oh, are you supposed to drink that stuff? I've always said that that's good. There's good stuff in there. There's different theories. And what you're saying is that that would be extremely beneficial for somebody to take, not to like worry about the stuff at the bottom, the white stuff, blah, 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 right?
It's the best stuff. It's the best stuff.
Best
And
stuff.
I will say it is the thing with the aged urine. It's because we're trying to move to that state. And now on that note, 80% of the energy that the body's requiring is coming straight through the skin. Aged urine is on a higher metaphysical plane. It will speak to the body. It will speak to the body. And if you continue to keep using it, it will look to put you in a certain direction. Yeah. So it will look to try and clear your state. So what it will look to do is it will look to try and clear away the foods that are hardest to get the elements from. That's what it does. So that's why my aged urine is always like really, really light. I'm always drinking aged urine, always. And it has taken me on a path where it has been my teacher as well. My true self is my teacher, and the aged urine has been a teacher also in the physical. So if anybody out there wants to know how to sort of conduct and how to access aged urine as a philosopher's stone, then what has to happen is you have to let the aged urine do the talking. And what the best way to work with the aged urine, like I say, is to try and create a clearer aged urine, because it's going to be much, much easier to drink. And in actual fact, the pH is more towards the 9 instead of the 10. What I found, the 10 is no good.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
And that's why it's stopping some people, from continually drinking it. Because when you put certain substances, certain cooked foods, nothing wrong with anything. I'm not dealing with duality. There is no right and wrong. All is an experience. When we put certain cooked elements in, because of some of the molecular structure changes when we cook foods, etc., they generate more of a fire and more of a heat, because heat is light. Right. So when it goes to the aged urine, it becomes darker. It becomes harder to drink.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same level of communication in it, because it has less elemental charge in it. So it has less information in it. It has less of the gases in it. And what the aged urine I did for myself, has pushed me towards even more towards that clear state where I'm only consuming straight life. People say, but what is that then? The juices, but you need to know which juices. Flax seeds contain phosphorus. I drink them every day. Hemp protein, has got just phenomenal. Hemp does also, it works on your pineal. It does. There's a million things for the body that hemp does. Act as a massive super antioxidant, massive anti-inflammatory. It's phenomenal. It's so simple. All that's happening is that we're looking to bring balance to the body. The fields that surround us are looking to bring balance to the body, and this is why we say that we need to get out of the way of the body, because of the cooked foods that we consume. What happens with them is the molecular structure of them has been changed, and the elements are much harder to find for the body, which means that the body is now having to work to break down, to find elements, instead of using elements that gases and plasmas can align with, in order so that they can send those elements to certain organs, because different organs require different gases, different informational gases. So that's why they need the elements. The gases need the elements, so they can send the elements to the different organs where they are required. That is what an aged urine, I found, aids in that process. It is aiding that process. And that's why, again, here, on this one slide here, that I just want to I just wanted to show you, allow you to do that, because I have to turn down the screen to do it, like that one there. You could just see here.
Yep.
This is phosphorus. So you can just see that. You just
Important
see that.
bone,
Can
teeth,
you see
health,
that?
helps kidney filter waste, energy production, growth, maintenance, DNA, RNA synthesis, healthy levels of vitamin D, calcium, acid-base balance. Yeah, all the stuff you said, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But that's the phosphorus, which is a light.
Mm.
The, it's a light, and it's working on your you know, your DNA. It's working with your DNA to help you to bring forth
Mm.
what you really should be, to bring your it's helping you to bring your light forward.
Yeah, I love this, bro. This has been an absolutely fucking incredible presentation. I know this has barely touched the tip
Barely
of
took the
what
tip.
you actually know
Barely
of
took the
this.
tip.
And I appreciate what you've said, your wisdom, what you do, but also how you synthesized it in such a way that I can definitely understand. As a layperson, I consider myself, even though I drink aged urine, I'm still lay on the science. So from what you said, it's been amazing, bro. Before we leave, though, I would like to ask you: is there anything you'd like to conclude as a statement to get to the masses and to people that are drinking aged urine, or any particular message that we haven't covered or you didn't cover?
Yeah, I would like to say to people that it takes 3 days to achieve a clear state. Yeah, it takes 3 days to achieve a clear light, a plasma light highway. And today we've just been looking at a lot of information that confirms that the plasma highway exists. It's aligned with your urine. It's aligned with the taurine as well. Go away, we research on that. So what we're saying is you are sitting on 7 liters of waters. Yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah, mostly interstitial fluids. Yeah, most interstitial fluids, and the rest is blood. Yeah, combined between your interstitial fluids and your blood is the 16, which is the 7. So what's actually happening? What's actually happening is your osmotic pressure and your hydrostatic pressure. What's happening is your body is constantly trying to create an equilibrium. So it will push the osmotic pressure. So it will pull in outside of the plasma highway. It will pull in what it requires into that plasma highway and kick out what it doesn't need to create a balance. Yeah. And then it pushes out towards the lymph as well, pushes water out towards the lymph so the lymph can be cleared. So what's actually happening is our internal system is trying to create a clear light highway. Yeah. And your personality has been taught to have likes and dislikes which stand in the way of that, which stand in the way of that. So it's very, 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 very key that we look to create this light highway. It takes 3 days to do it. You can simply do it just by you can do your raw juicing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
any raw fruit life. Yeah, they contain plasma. All these are plasma. The plasma of the fruits, as long as they're organic, they turn them genetically modified deliberately so that they cannot communicate with you, because they carry a frequency now. The 7.8 frequency that is coming from the human resonance frequency is in the plant, is in the fruits. So when you create that light highway, you become more communicative. You become much lighter and you become much more sensitive. Yeah. Then your urine, your body will tell you this, because this looping process when your field is constantly boom, boom, and it's going from back to front. You know this. There's a law, there's a natural law encased inside of your body. You can only know it through deep notice and self-study. What your body will do is it will start producing a lot more clear urine when you create a clear light highway. It will create lots more urine. That's why you were more hydrated. Your body's telling you, look, now you've created a clear state through you're drinking your juices, you're looping, you're not putting anything in. Through doing that, you create more clear urine. That clear urine, you then catch it. You don't waste it. If you then catch it in order to store it, this is what I was saying earlier about the pattern of play. It's much deeper than we think it is. This reality in which we are experiencing is much more of a labyrinth, and it is much more communicative than we think it is. It has a much more deeper story to it than we think it does. So when I excrete that urine, the action of me then storing that urine and then saving that urine in order to drink it, knowing that my body already, because my body was talking to me by creating that light highway. When you create the light highway, you'll have a lot more clear urine. As soon as I drink that new urine, what happens is you will feel an exceptional lift, far greater than you've experienced at any point previously. Yeah, and you're compounding a life when you're doing that.
I love what you're saying there, bro. The clearer the urine, the more powerful, and clears the light pathways and the blockages, and ultimately returns us to who we really are that we've forgotten. And do you know what I was thinking as well, quickly before we go? You were saying that it's not even about health; it's about a highest vibration. I was thinking as well that we've got, by virtue of being in the matrix, we all have to keep working so hard, because even people like yourself and myself, there's so much damage there inbuilt from our ancestors that it just there's new levels and new levels to this, and it's just never ending, and it's exciting. It's not even, oh, it's never ending, depressing. No, it's exciting.
Yeah. I was saying to Lee the other day. I was just cutting there. Sorry, I was just saying, because it's very important. I was saying the other day about purgatory, and that's what this place is. It's a purge. Yeah. So this is like a place where we have to come here to purge what we are not. Yeah. And by recognizing, by working with what we are not, yeah, enables us to become what we truly are, because we recognize what we don't want to be. By having these experiences, by suffering through this pain, it leads us towards that gain. When you drink that H urine through the nose the first couple of times, it burns, it stings, there's a pain, but in the end, you find the gain from doing it.
Oh, on that note, brother, this has been so fucking beautiful. No pain, no gain. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Fabian, for this wonderful presentation. And I just hoping that we carry on the work, brother, and keep getting the message out there, keep spreading the word, spreading the love. I would love to do a part two if you're up for a part two. Let's do another part two soon as well. Not leave it a year. Let's roll and do some more cooking. In the meantime, thank you very much. And
you too.
Thanks, guys, for watching. This was Harry, Holistic Health Harry, and Applies to Realize with Fabian Funkmaster.